The last ember of Aeloria. In the sprawling world of Eldoria, where ancient forests whispered secrets and mountains clawed at the heavens, there existed a realm known as Aeloria, a kingdom long thought lost to time and shadow. It was a land where magic coursed through every brook and stone, where dragons soared beneath blood-red skies, and where heroes arose from the most unlikely of places. The story begins not with a crown or a throne, but with a spark, faint and flickering, in the heart of a girl named Alira. Born beneath the cratered moons of Aeloria, Alira carried within her the last ember of a dying magic, a flame that had fueled the kingdom's glory and guarded its people against the encroaching darkness for centuries. From her earliest days, Alira was marked by the village elders as different. Her eyes shimmered like molten gold, and her breath warmed the coldest winter nights. But the world had changed. The ancient magic that once thrummed in every leaf and stone was now but a ghost, slowly fading, as the sinister Shadow Veil spread its tendrils across the lands. The Shadow Veil was more than a mere blight. It was a malevolent force, born from the bitterness of forgotten gods and fueled by the suffering of broken souls. It crept through Aeloria's forests, turning living things into hollow shells, corrupting the very essence of life. Villages fell silent overnight, vibrant fields withered to ash, and the skies grew thick with a mournful gloom. Alira's village, a small enclave named Thaler's Rest, stood at the edge of this creeping void. It was a place untouched by glory but rich in simple joys, the laughter of children, the scent of wildflowers, and the steady rhythm of the seasons. Yet, beneath its tranquil veneer, the village bore the weight of fear. The elders spoke in hushed tones of the prophecy, one that told of a child born under the twin moons who would wield the last ember of magic and either banish the Shadow Veil or doom the world entirely. On the eve of her 16th birthday, Alira's life changed irrevocably. That night, the sky was torn asunder by a violent tempest, the air thick with electricity and whispers of old powers awakening. The twin moons aligned perfectly, casting a silver glow over the land. In the heart of the village square, Alira felt a pull deep within her chest, a warmth growing, spreading, until it erupted in a blaze of golden light. The villagers gathered, eyes wide with awe and fear, as Alira harnessed the flame that danced upon her fingertips. She was both marvel and menace, a beacon in a world darkening with despair. The elders approached, their voices trembling as they spoke of her destiny and the path she must walk. "You carry the ember of Aeloria," said Elder Meles, his voice a fragile thread against the roaring wind. "It is our last hope. You must seek the Heartstone, buried deep beneath the crystal spires. Only its power can rekindle the magic that will cleanse this land." But the journey would be perilous. The crystal spires lay beyond the Shadow Veil's grasp, in the treacherous Frostwind Mountains, a range carved from ancient glaciers and haunted by creatures of ice and shadow. Few who ventured there ever returned. Alira accepted the charge with quiet resolve, her heart burning brighter than ever. Accompanying her was Kalen, a skilled tracker and childhood friend whose loyalty was as steadfast as the mountains themselves. Together, they set out under the silver light, leaving behind the safety of Thaler's Rest for a world consumed by darkness. The early days of their journey were filled with both wonder and peril. They crossed emerald forests where leaves hummed with residual magic and skirted deep ravines shrouded in mist. The Shadow Veil's tendrils loomed ever closer, its whispers seeping into the night. At the edge of the veil, they encountered a band of nomadic warriors known as the Vashran, a fierce people who had sworn to protect what remained of the ancient magic. Their leader, Saris, was a woman of rare strength and razor-sharp wit. She recognized Alira's power immediately and warned of the dangers ahead. "The veil is not just darkness," Saris explained by firelight. "It feeds on fear and hatred. To pass through, you must face the shadows not around you, but within." With her blessing and a small contingent of Vashran warriors, Alira and Kalen plunged into the Shadow Veil. Within that blackened realm, the air tasted of ash and sorrow. Shadows twisted into grotesque forms, manifestations of past regrets and deepest fears. For Alira, the greatest challenge was her own doubt, the lingering uncertainty that she was worthy of the ember's power. One night, as the group rested beneath gnarled trees, the Shadow Veil struck. Dark wraiths emerged, their eyes glowing with malevolent hunger. The battle was fierce and relentless. Alira's flame burned brighter, a searing beacon slicing through the darkness, but each strike drained her strength further. In the midst of chaos, a wraith latched onto Kalen, draining his life force. Illyra, with tears blazing down her cheeks, channeled all her remaining energy to save him, her flame flaring into a blinding crescendo that scattered the shadows like smoke in the wind. Exhausted but unbroken, the survivors pressed onward. Days later, they reached the foot of the Frostwind Mountains, where jagged peaks pierced the sky like shards of glass and icy winds howled a lament. Climbing the slopes was a test of endurance and will. The cold bit through their armor, sapping warmth and hope alike. Yet, higher and higher they pushed until the crystal spires gleamed before them, towers of crystalline ice, refracting the faint light into a kaleidoscope of colors. At the base of the tallest spire, they found the entrance to an ancient cavern. Inside, the air thrummed with arcane energy. Illyra stepped forward, holding out her hands as the ember within blazed to life. There, nestled in a pedestal of shimmering crystal, rested the Heartstone, a gem pulsing with pure magic, the source of Aeloria's life and light. Reaching for the Heartstone, Illyra felt a wave of warmth and clarity flood her senses. The shadow veil outside seemed to falter, its grip loosening. But as she grasped the gem, a shadowed figure emerged from the darkness, a manifestation of the veil's will, a dark sorcerer who had corrupted the land centuries ago to seize power. "I have waited long for this moment," he hissed, eyes burning with hatred. "Give me the Heartstone, and I will grant you power beyond imagining." Illyra's flame surged, illuminating the cavern in a radiant glow. "Your time is over," she declared. "The magic belongs to all of Aeloria, not to the darkness." A fierce battle erupted, light clashing against shadow in a whirlwind of fire and despair. The cavern trembled as their powers collided, and in a final surge, Illyra unleashed the full force of the ember into the Heartstone. A blinding wave of energy erupted, purging the shadows, dissolving the sorcerer into nothingness. The Heartstone sang a song of renewal, its light flowing through the veins of the earth, restoring life and magic. Outside, the shadow veil dissipated like morning mist, revealing skies painted in warm hues and forests rich with song. Illyra and Kalen stood on the mountain's peak, witnessing the rebirth of their world. Word of their victory spread swiftly. The ember of Aeloria had kindled a new dawn, not just for magic but for hope itself. The journey had changed Illyra, from a girl born under uncertain skies to the flame that would forever illuminate the destiny of Aeloria. And as the twin moons rose once more, shining down on a land healed and strong, a new chapter began, one of legends, forever etched in the hearts of those who dared to believe in the last ember.